They were both found unresponsive in bathtubs, both surrounded by fame, emotional turbulence, and the lasting weight of personal struggle, and both gone far too soon. Whitney Houston and her daughter Bobbi Kristina Brown lived lives filled with music, family legacy, and public attention. But their stories ended in eerily similar ways, and at the center of both stood a man named Nick Gordon.
There's only one person that was around both occasions.
You won't say his name. Nick Gordon is who you're referring to.
I won't say his name.
This is the heartbreaking true story of a mother and daughter, their rise to stardom, and the tragic pattern that followed them both. Whitney Houston wasn't just a singer. She was a voice that defined a generation. She rose to global superstardom in the 1980s and 90s, selling over 200 million records and earning numerous awards. With timeless hits like I Will Always Love You, Greatest Love of All, and I Wanna Dance with Somebody, Whitney became a household name. Her powerful vocals and stage presence earned her the nickname The Voice, and to many, she was untouchable. But Whitney's story was never just about music. She was born into a family of performers. Her mother, Cissy Houston, was a Grammy-winning gospel and soul singer. Her cousin, Dionne Warwick, was already a major star by the time Whitney entered the spotlight. From an early age, it was clear Whitney was destined to follow in their footsteps. In 1992, at the height of her fame, Whitney married singer Bobbi Brown. Their relationship was passionate and intense, and often volatile. They were both young, talented, and in the spotlight, but their marriage quickly became tabloid fodder. Despite the chaos, the couple shared a deep bond and welcomed a daughter, Bobbi Kristina, in March of 1993. As the only child of two music icons, Bobbi Kristina was raised in the public eye. She accompanied her parents to red carpets, interviews, and award shows. The world watched her grow up, often seeing her caught in the middle of her parents' highs and lows. In 2005, Whitney and Bobbi took their chaotic relationship to television with the reality show Being Bobbi Brown. The show gave fans an uncensored look into their marriage, including moments of humor, tension, and vulnerability. Bobbi Kristina appeared regularly on the show, offering glimpses of family life behind closed doors. The series was short-lived, but became a cultural moment, raw, messy, and impossible to look away from. Whitney and Bobbi also shared musical moments. In 2003, they recorded a touching duet called Little Drummer Boy for a holiday album. The mother-daughter track showed off Bobbi's early interest in following in her parents' footsteps. It was a rare and heartfelt moment, a glimpse of a future that sadly never had the chance to fully unfold. By the mid-2000s, Whitney's personal struggles began to overshadow her career. Her relationship with Bobbi Brown had become increasingly strained, and her once pristine image began to unravel. The couple officially divorced in 2007, with Whitney receiving full custody of Bobbi Kristina. After the divorce, Whitney began a comeback, releasing a new album and giving candid interviews about her struggles and her hopes for the future. But it was clear that her journey had taken a toll.
Anorexia?
No way.
They've written it. Bulimia?
No way.
That it's because of drugs?
No. We don't do crack. We don't do that. Crack is whack.
On February 11th, 2012, just one day before the Grammy Awards, Whitney Houston was found unresponsive in the bathtub of her suite at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. She was only 48 years old. Emergency responders attempted to revive her, but it was too late. Authorities ruled her death as accidental, citing heart disease and other health complications as contributing factors. There were also signs of long-term physical strain. The loss was felt around the world, but for Bobbi Kristina, it was personal. She had been especially close to her mother in those final years. They lived together. They leaned on each other. Bobbi Kristina often referred to Whitney as her best friend. After her mother's passing, Bobbi Kristina became the focus of intense media attention. The grief was overwhelming. At just 18 years old, she had lost her anchor, and in many ways, her direction. She publicly stated that she wanted to carry on her mother's legacy, even expressing plans to pursue a music and acting career. But those around her noticed troubling changes. She appeared frail and distant in interviews. Rumors circulated that she was struggling emotionally, and those close to her expressed concern about her isolation. Her relationship with Nick Gordon, a young man who had lived in the Houston household for years, became increasingly complicated. Though never legally adopted, Nick had grown up like a brother to Bobbi Kristina. But after Whitney's death, their relationship turned romantic. The pairing raised eyebrows. Many in the public questioned the nature of the relationship, given their sibling-like upbringing. Bobbi Kristina and Nick insisted they were in love, and even referred to themselves as married, though no legal documents ever confirmed this. Then, 3 years after her mother's passing, the unthinkable happened. On January 31st, 2015, Bobbi Kristina was found unresponsive in the bathtub of her Georgia home. She had been discovered face down and was rushed to the hospital. Medical staff placed her in a medically induced coma. Despite the efforts of doctors and specialists, her condition remained grim. She never regained consciousness. Bobbi Kristina remained in a coma for nearly 6 months. Her family held out hope for a miracle, but as the months passed, that hope faded. On July 26, 2015, she passed away at a hospice facility. She was just 22 years old. The similarities between her death and her mother's were haunting. Both found in bathtubs, both surrounded by unanswered questions, both lost far too young. In the aftermath, investigators began to look into the events leading up to Bobbi Kristina's final moments. Reports described concerning behavior in the home. Family members filed a civil lawsuit against Nick Gordon, accusing him of being responsible for the circumstances that led to her hospitalization. They claimed he had isolated her, taken control of her finances, and contributed to the chaos in her life. In 2016, a judge found Nick Gordon legally responsible for Bobbi Kristina's death in the civil case and ordered him to pay over $36 million in damages to her estate. Though the case never went to criminal court, the ruling sent a clear message. Nick Gordon denied all wrongdoing, but his own life continued to spiral. In early 2020, just 5 years after Bobbi Kristina's passing, Nick Gordon was found unresponsive in a Florida residence. He was pronounced dead shortly afterward, with initial reports attributing it to substance-related complications. He was 30 years old. With his passing, 3 lives were gone, all under the weight of fame, tragedy, and emotional turmoil. For Bobby Brown, the pain has been unimaginable. He lost his ex-wife, and he watched his daughter fall down the same path. In the years since, Bobby has become a vocal advocate for wellness and recovery. He launched the Bobbi Kristina Serenity House, a foundation dedicated to helping individuals in vulnerable situations and honoring his daughter's memory through positive action. In 2018, Kanye West sparked major controversy when he paid $85,000 to license a photo of Whitney Houston's bathroom, littered with drug paraphernalia, to use as the cover art for Pusha T's album Daytona. The image, taken during the height of Whitney's personal struggles, was intended to evoke raw honesty, but many saw it as deeply disrespectful to her legacy and painful for her family. The decision reignited public debate about exploiting celebrity trauma for shock value. The story of Whitney and Bobbi Kristina isn't just about the music or the glamour. It's about the price of fame, about how the brightest stars can sometimes burn the fastest, about how cycles can repeat when support runs out, and how grief, when left unhealed, can consume everything around it. Their deaths left behind a wave of questions. Could more have been done? Did the public pressure make things worse? Were warning signs ignored? Or were they simply 2 women who loved each other deeply and were never truly able to escape the weight of their own legacy? What remains is their music, their love, and the lessons learned from their lives. Whitney Houston gave the world her voice. Bobbi Kristina gave the world her heart. And together, their story continues to remind us of how complicated life behind the spotlight can truly be. Let us know in the comments, what part of this story stayed with you the most? And if you want more stories like this, the kind that uncover what really happened behind the headlines, subscribe to Scandalist.